Hey crafty friends, I am working on a Happy New Year layout and I'm ready to share all the dimensions with you and the paper that I used and start assembling it. So I wanted to use largely black and gold with some white. And the black part is easy with some cardstock. I have some gold embossed elements that I'm using. So I'm laying out the pages here and I have my paper kind of picked out and roughly the design that I want here. And I'm going to want to put some embossing, some embossed fireworks in the background in this area up here where I'm going to have my title. That'll say Happy New Year. And then down here I'm going to have the year in some balloon looking letters. So I'm just making a little mark on my paper here so I can see where the corner of that black space is. And then I will work on putting some embossing there. And then on this page, I'm going to do the same thing on the right hand side where these photos will lay on top of it. And here I think I'll just be random on this whole half of the page. So I'll move those things out of the way and I'll start with the left page first. And I don't see my pencil mark. So let me try to redo that. Got about 6 inches here. I think right there is about where I wanted that corner. And I have, I'm using the Light the Sky stamp set. It also comes with dies. I might use some of the dies to layer on some additional like 3-dimensional embellishments with fireworks. But I have a number of different fireworks stamps. And so I'm just going to randomly pick some of these and stamp them onto the paper using Versamark, which is a clear kind of glue-like stamp pad that doesn't leave any color of its own behind, but it allows the embossing powder to stick to it. So I'm going to first use this embossing buddy, which is just a little bit of cornstarch in a pouch, which helps to prevent things from sticking. So that way the embossing powder will only stick in the spaces that you want it to and not stick to the whole paper by static, which it sometimes can do. So I'm going to use these 2 smaller ones. Maybe I'll do one larger one in the corner because I want to leave the bulk of this space in this upper left corner for my title. And I know I'm going to want some to go off of the page, so I'm just putting a piece of paper behind that. And that way I can stamp off the edge without getting the ink onto my glass mat, which is not a problem because it cleans off easily, but I might get it on other stuff while I'm in process. So I'll just put a nice big one up there in the corner. I'll put one kind of here, doesn't have to be all the way at the top. I'll do another one down here. And then I'll do a different one right into this corner. And that'll leave me, put a lot of glitter onto the paper, but it will also leave me a good space there to put my title without too much overlap. So I've stamped the Versamark. Hopefully you can see that. And now I'm going to sprinkle some gold embossing powder over the spots where I stamped. And this will stick just where the stamp was, ideally. And then we'll heat it to melt the embossing powder and get our final image, which will be nice and shiny. There, doesn't that look beautiful? And in this case, there are a few strays. Sometimes I'll try to clean those off, but this time I'll leave it because some additional glitter spots will be fine for this layout. Okay, that is beautiful. And you can see you just run the heat tool. It's like a little blow dryer, but it goes to just the right temperature. And you'll see the embossing powder kind of melt and turn shiny, and then it's on there for good. So that's done for that page. And then on my right page, I'm gonna wanna do something similar on the whole right-hand side of the page. And I'll probably go a little bit heavier on this side because I'm not going to have letters in front of it. I'll just have the squares of the photo mats. And I just think these are spectacular. They're really, really, really festive, and it'll be perfect for the New Year's Eve pictures. We didn't have fireworks during that party, but we had a lot of fun. And we had our own little disco ball kind of drop at midnight that we rigged up inside the house, which was a lot of fun. And this time I did not use the embossing buddy on the page. Frankly, I forgot, but I'm good with that because I think some of the stray glitter is working really well for what I'm trying to accomplish here. And I'm trying to go random, but I am honestly not a great random person. So it might look a little bit more like a pattern than I intend. But random is what I'm kind of after here. And I'll have some going off the page as well. And that certainly looks like a huge celebration to me. So let's get the embossing powder on this side. And I use this little tray, which helps to catch all of the embossing powder, so then you can put it back in the container or, you know, dump it on the next project like this, like I'm doing here. And then I just try to tap it off. The powder sticks pretty good because it really is like a glue. So kind of shake it around the paper. I have glitter everywhere, but I like it. So I'll probably go to wear this sweater after I wash it a couple times and still be finding glitter. So we have a lot of that on the paper. Try and clean up what I can from my scrap paper. Not too successful. And then we will heat set this big piece of paper. I love how you can make your own background paper. It's dimensional when you do it this way. There we go. Now that is a gorgeous piece of sparkly paper that'll be great for the background for my page. And now I'm going to stamp. I'm going to use these balloon letters for the year. And I have all of these layers already on the page. So I do want these black photo mats to outline my photo, because that way the photo won't get lost on this background paper that I'm using. But you can see I'm only using the very edge of these photo mats. So I'm actually going to use the center of the black photo mats to stamp my numbers and then emboss those, and then I'm going to be cutting those out with die cuts that come in this kit as well. So of course I can just grab another piece of black paper. I have plenty of black paper, but I don't know why. I just like making use of every little thing that I can. So it's just me. And it makes your layouts a little bit thinner when you cut out the center of the photo mats. Now that is sometimes quite a lot of work, and so I don't really do it all the time. But in a case like this where I'm going to be die cutting something anyway, it's perfect. So this is for last year, so I'm going to need the 2, the 0, and the 4. And if you followed my channel, you know sometimes I stamp and then die cut, and sometimes I die cut and then stamp. In this case, I'm going to stamp, emboss, and then die cut, because I already have a mess from all of the embossing I'm doing right now. So I'm just on a roll, and then I can clean everything up all at once. So I'm going to have a 2 and another 2. And you can see I just put those in the center of my mat. And then I'm going to have a 0 and a 4 to make a 2024. And so I will, same thing here, we'll heat emboss these, and then I'll be cutting them out. So you just shake your powder around until your image is covered. You can also just pour some more out of the little jar, but since I have a lot already in the tray, try and just use that. And then this little tray is nice because it's got a little spout on the end. So when I'm all done, I can shake all the glitter down to the bottom of that spout, open it up, and pour it right back into my jar. So it's a great little system. All right. Okay, so there you have it. I think that's all my embossing, but I might come back later and do a few more fireworks that are cut out that go on top of things. So I'll get this cleaned up. And then I pulled out this paper pack that has a lot of gold designs in it. It's called Nature's Sweetness, 12 by 12 paper. One side has gold kind of foil, and the other side has more of a plain, well, a fancy design, but not shiny. And so I pulled out this paper that I really liked. It's white with a little bit of a grid design on it, but it's got that gold shine to use in a couple of spots on the page. And then I pulled out this other one that's like typed words with little splotches of gold. And the third paper that I'm using in a few places as photo mats for the paper is this gold with little white flowers on it. So I've cut my papers and kind of ready to get started here. I have a 12 by 12 black cardstock base, and I embossed with gold some fireworks from the Light the Sky stamp set. And then I've cut this white grid paper to 6 inches by 12, so that's like half of the page. This printed paper is 3 inches by 6 inches, and I'm going to use that as the background for my numbers. I'll have the year 2024 on here. And then this gold paper is 4 by 6, and I will use that as a photo mat to a 4 by 6 photo that I cut down 1/4 inch on each side, so you'll see the gold outlines. So let me get these taped down. You can see the back of this grid paper is not shiny, but it has a really pretty, I think, I don't know, it kind of reminds me of magnolia, but that's not exactly what it is. Some sort of plant, flowering tree. And so we'll tape this down over the right hand half of this page. Try and make it straight. And then we'll put the gold down in the corner. And then I like to just tack down my photo mats with a tiny bit of tape because I'll be removing these when I actually place my photos in. And then on this printed word gold splotchy paper, tape that down right on top of there. All right, and then we can put down our photo mats. I think I want the large one on the bottom, the square on the top. And you can see I did use these to cut out the numbers that I'm using. It's an easy way to stretch your supplies and make the page just a little less bulky. So I think that'll be about there. And once you put your photo on, no one sees that. So feel free to use, you can, it's called gutting it. You can cut out a square in the middle that you won't be seeing. Or you can do like I did here and use it as the cardstock for some die cutting. But, you know, sometimes it's worth it just to keep moving and not take the time to do that. And I have lots of black cardstock and easy to match, so not too worried about that. Now, I'm going to be putting the numbers here, which I stamped, embossed in gold, and then cut out using die cuts. And this is from an older stamp set I have called Number Balloons. That comes with the stamps and die cuts. But that worked perfect for the size that I have here to put the numbers and kind of the overall vibe. So I'm going to put these down using dimensional tape, and I've already put that on the back. And that gives it a nice amount of texture to the page, you know, adds a little bit of visual interest to have things popped up. This page is going to be really nice when it's done with the gold embossing and the shiny papers and the pictures that I have to go with this. There's a lot of gold and black and shiny going on. We had a nice New Year's Eve party in 2024. And I know I have a ton of pictures. I probably will need to make another 2-page layout that's largely horizontal. So I can include a lot of my horizontal pictures because this particular layout is focused on square and vertical pictures. We have one horizontal down here. But I like this layout, and I thought it worked well with my desire to put some white and gold shiny papers down. Now I've cut out Happy New Year in these small letters, which come from the mini alphabet die set, and I used gold foil paper, and you can see it's just one large die that has the alphabet on it. So I cut that out twice to give me all of the letters that I needed, and I had a bunch of extras that I put in an envelope, and I will find another page and another thing to say that uses up a lot of those letters. I think I have easily enough for the word celebrate. I'm just laying it out first, and then I will glue it all down once I have things where I want them. I really like these letters. They're fun. It's great that it cuts out all the letters at once. I've used them in several layouts and on cards. They're a really nice size, so you can easily read them, but you also have a lot of room. You know, they don't take a lot of space, so you can put longer titles on. I think that looks fantastic. Hopefully I can glue it down relatively straight. Always the hard part. And I really should have thought ahead and used adhesive sheets when I cut these out. I need to remember to do that more often. That would turn all these little letters into stickers and make much quicker work for me and a little bit less messy. But I already had cut them out by the time I thought about that. I probably need to leave some adhesive sheets in the little package that holds the dies. That way, that might be a great way for me to remember next time I use that die set. All right, and this glue, you have a short minute here to move things around. Get everything as straight as you can before it kind of sets up. All right, now we'll go down to the new year. What do you like to do on New Year's Eve? I tend to like to gather with other people, although I have definitely had some quiet years. I don't really like going out because I like to have some champagne, and then I don't want to have to drive and be out on the streets. Last year, the party that I'll be scrapbooking here, we hosted at our house, and had a lot of people from the neighborhood. And then this year, recently, another neighbor of ours hosted a small group of people at their house. And I went over and we had a really fun time. We played a game of Clue. We caught up from all of our holiday adventures and stayed up long enough to watch the ball in Times Square and share a toast. And then it was only, probably by 12:30, I was already home and in bed. So I like to celebrate, but I'm not really the party animal, especially not that I used to be. Not that I ever really was, but all right. So there is my left page, and I don't know if you can see it, but those letters are really shiny. I used gold foil paper for that. And now let's work on the other page that'll accompany this. You can see these two pages are going to go great together. I've used this, the same papers on both sides. So on this side, on the right-hand side, I embossed with gold embossing powder, lots of different fireworks dies, stamps from the Light the Sky collection. Now on this side, we've got a piece of 6 by 7 of the gold and white grid paper. And I will try to make a little design template with all the measurements to go with this and post it in the comments. I always have intention to do that, but sometimes I'm more successful than others. All right, and then here is where the photo mat that I'm going to put here, which is the one that I cut the 0 and the 4 out of. And then just a tiny piece of tape to temporarily hold the photo placeholder. And then in the bottom, I am going to have a 6-inch wide by 5-inch tall piece. So that should cover the rest of this side. And then a 4x4. This would be a, let's say, a 4 1/4 by 4 1/4 black cardstock photo mat, and then the placeholder for a 4x4. So when you're doing these cardstock mattings, if you want it thin like this around the edge, that's about 1/8 of an inch showing on each side. So you cut a 1/4 inch bigger in each dimension, and then it ends up with 1/8 on each side and 1/8 on the top and the bottom. And then over on this right-hand side, it would be beautiful just to leave that like that. And maybe I put like a journaling box or something over here. But I have a lot of pictures I want to use, so I am going to go ahead and add 2 more photo mats and photo placeholders here. Okay, so there you have it. I have those taped down, and my 2-page layout is complete except for the pictures. Happy New Year 2024 doesn't really need any additional journaling. I might, as I put pictures in, I might put some little labels with people's names. But I love the way this turned out. I love all the sparkle and shine that we get from the combination of the papers that have some gold foiling on it, the embossing I did, the letters cut with the gold foil paper. But I might come back and add some gems or embellishments to this. And I will try and post a picture on my blog when I put the photos in, so you can see what it really looks like with photos. So be sure to check there at blueberrycanary.com. Thanks for joining me, and let me know what you did for New Year's this year.